Here it is. It's an Easter shirt. Jesus is on the shirt. Guess who's back? Back again. Little pop culture reference there. Okay. And it's a reference, of course, to the resurrection. All right. So the question is, with this topic, is this pop culture relevant or is it too irreverent? And I made the decision, you can see after I tweeted it out, I made the decision after thinking about it, there's enough of a gray area there that I backed off. What are each of your thoughts?
I think you did the right thing. Guess who's back again? What is that a reference to? Is that Terminator or what did you say that was?
That's a song.
That's a song?
It's a song lyric. Guess who's back again? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the sunglasses, the overall image, what is the purpose? What purpose does it serve? I'm not quite clear on that. What purpose does it serve
I didn't even
at all?
think about the sunglasses.
Yeah, the sunglasses are kind of what does it for me.
I guess the sunglasses could look the other way. Hey, like a boss, man. Yeah.
Yeah. But Jesus doesn't need to be made to look like a boss because he is one. That's my point. You don't need that for Jesus Christ. There's also the element. I saw a few comments too about making a graven image. I'm just, again, Jesus is not a T-shirt. Jesus is not a catchy phrase. Jesus is not a boss who just wears sunglasses. Jesus isn't even a badass. He's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I just think, kind of a la the He Gets Us stuff, this shirt is taking Christ's name in vain by not showing you the totality of what he is, what he did, what he is doing, and what he will do. And so because of that, I do think it's reducing him down to a clever little T-shirt. I tapped out. I saw that posted. I just kind of kept scrolling by. But when you sent that over, I thought about it, kind of similar to you. And yeah, I think you made the right decision to pass on that.
Okay, can I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
The graven image thing, okay? That's an interesting,
I'm not even
exercise of how far to apply it.
Yeah.
So in the early years of cinema, they would not actually show Jesus on film. You'd see a figure, but you wouldn't see an actor, anybody playing him, because they thought that applied, would violate that commandment. So is any depiction of Christ a violation of that commandment in your view?
I'm not sure. I think
it's would the passion be a violation?
What is the motivation of depicting Christ in any? So the motivation here is to put him on a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. The motivation in the passion was to show and shove down your throat what our Savior went through on the cross, right? His work, his life and work. So I think there are going to be a lot of hardliners probably in our audience who says, no, things like The Chosen, definitely no. Maybe even The Passion, definitely no. This T-shirt, of course, no. I'm not sure it goes necessarily that far. But this one, I just think you have to judge the motivation of the work and its execution as well.
So in the case of The Passion, that is a work to elevate and exalt Christ's lordship. In this case, this is an act of reductionism.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. I get that. Todd, what do you think?
Until I know whose feet the person wearing this T-shirt will wash, I reserve judgment.
So I take it then you're a no on the shirt.
Well, on this specific shirt,
like if I'd come into work wearing that shirt at some point this month, your thoughts would have been what?
See, I know you wear all kinds of shirts that
Generally, though,
I'm used to you being an idiot. I'm used to you dressing like a fool.
Do we even?
So really, it would not have. I would not have even blushed. As a matter of fact,
we wouldn't have said anything because we don't really pay attention to what we're wearing.
That's the dude code answer there. Yes. Anyway, Todd, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's not just about a t-shirt per se. Like this particular message, the way it's conveyed does nothing for me like as a possible impact moment, conversation starter. Like here, I have the t-shirt. I opened it up out of the blue one day in the mail. My sister sent it to me. I've worn it on this show before. And heck, I'm like, I like the superhero movies, but like that's way more Steve genre. But like my sister sent it to me. It's both the Marvel and the DC universe big three sitting there with Jesus. And there's a thought bubble above Jesus' head. He says, and that's how I saved the world. I'm like, I love it. And if you're walking around in this culture in that t-shirt, and we know the quality of the production of a lot of this until relatively recently, these superhero movies and how they say things about heroism and there's no greater love than this, someone who laid down their life for his friends. Mm-hmm. And they found this through superhero movies. And here all these superheroes are looking like longingly at the Lord. Like, so it's not about, can you possibly pull that off on a t-shirt? It's pulled off for me. I think you'd wear that t-shirt. And
yeah, but I would also say that shirt is exaltation of his lordship.
Yeah, because
this is my point.
Isn't he? Yeah. Aren't the superheroes kneeling before him?
They're not kneeling, but they're sitting there and they're clearly in awe of him. So my point is, like, what can
like
you?
Who's the real superhero here?
What conceivably can you pull off through this shirt? And A and B, the one wearing it, are you willing to pull that off? Like, a lot of people put in this shirt on. What conversations are you willing to have? Mm-hmm. What conversations are you capable of having? That's important if you're going to put on this or any other shirt. So I don't think, so I guess the larger point of like, is any shirt, because there's a lot of kitschy, even like there's a lot of kids, like the crucified Lord bleeding out of everything, but like muscle bro shirt. Have you seen these things that are like, I'm like, okay, maybe this has some meaning for you individually, but you put it on what other people are seeing.
You exalting yourself.
That's what we got to think about when we put on that shirt. I know what
Jesus putting his hand, resting his hand on the shoulder of your favorite politician. Now give me some credit. We're 16 minutes into this segment. I finally just mentioned it. All right, the level of restraint that I showed by not referencing that abomination.
Oh my goodness!
Give me some. Anyway, I digress. Back to the original. Stick on the original. Stay on target. Back to the original shirt. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
I just don't. This shirt seems pretty, at best,
midwit.
Yeah, I mean maybe harmless.
All right. So what you're telling me then is even if you're not necessarily at the level of hermeneutic on the shirt that Aaron is, the juice then isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That it doesn't make enough of a profound point that it's worth the risk of brandishing it, basically.
Todd, what is the Catholic teaching on graven image? Because even a number of evangelicals, maybe I'm wrong, Steve, but a number of evangelicals would say the crucifix would be a graven image. Am I wrong?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, are we?
That's why we have an empty, in Protestant churches, generally it's an empty cross. Catholic churches, there's the crucifix.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say, that's the difference. Beyond that, we share the same teaching, which, and there's just a fork in the road, I guess. Which is interesting. I wasn't even thinking about it from that perspective, because is this wrong for my default? If I see like dude bro lifting shirt or something like it. If I almost default to thinking that must be an evangelical Protestant if they're wearing an
empty cross,
like a bleeding, suffering Lord. No, not an empty cross, okay. A bleeding, suffering Lord shirt. Because Catholics are most Catholics are probably way too suburban uptight to pull that off. I think of just like an edgy born again Christian motorcycle dude wearing. But that's a great. Is that not an image?
Yeah,
and
that's the whole argument. Is any depiction, is any imagery of Christ at all a violation of the commandment? And my guess is there's a complete Venn diagram of the people who would say yes, who think that celebrating Easter and Christmas with pagan origins are wrong. My guess is that the crossover there of those two camps probably pretty high, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now here's what's weird. All of us kind of agreed his shirt kind of empty, not much there. And look where it just took us though on this conversation. So
I thought it might. That's why I thought it'd be an interesting conversation.